Today I have a nonfiction haul for you. The theme of this is creative craft and writing. And what's going to be a little bit different about this is a lot of them I've thumbed through already, so I can kind of give you my thoughts of whether I would recommend them so far or for what stage in the writing process you're at. So without further ado, I'm going to start off with a favorite of mine, which is Creating Character Arcs by K.M. Wieland. This is great when you're crafting of course, when you're crafting characters, but also like when you're just getting off the ground, you're building the bones and you're brainstorming. I find this the most valuable with creating characters because it gives you the vocabulary. At least it gave me that. She has a character wants, needs, their lie that they tell themselves, or misbelief about the world. I think it's used like that in Save the Cat. I have found thinking about the writing process and trying to figure out who my characters are to be so much easier for that. Even despite that I'm not so sure that I'm going to use her suggested plotting structure, I have found this invaluable. It is the one I flip to most, and it is the one that I recommend the most out of all the books that I'm going to mention here today. Next is one that's more just about creativity and like when you're in writer's block or when you're feeling imposter syndrome-y, which I do often. This is If You Want to Write by Brenda Euland, and I did not enough research on this one. I think this is a little bit religious, which is not my cup of tea. And maybe I will find some useful things in it anyway, and if not, then my free little library will inherit this. This is one that I think will be useful in the flow of writing. Like, I'm in the brainstorming phase right now, called The Romance Writer's Phrase Book by Jean Kent and Candace Shelton. I think this is a little bit older, but there are like different phrases and words for like laughter, humor, describing eyes, voices, emotions, and I think that this will be invaluable to either helping me brainstorm or figuring out the right way to say something or just getting it on the damn page. This one I have not even peeked into. I got it in the mail this morning actually. Self-Editing for Fiction Writers by Renee Brown and Dave King, or maybe Renee. Like many of these books, tons of examples in here, and I'm hoping that this will serve me well. I haven't got to look at that one much yet. This is one I picked up randomly at a half price because it was there. And there's not a lot of books on specifically writing romance. And this was back when I thought I was going to be writing genre fiction romance. And I think now I kind of discovered I'm leaning more into literary fiction, romantic literary fiction. But this was an earlier on purchase and it is a bit older and I'm unfamiliar with the author. It's called On Writing Romance, How to Craft a Novel That Sells by Lee Michaels. And it's not even the how to get a publisher, how to sell, which like that information will be outdated with older books and probably not useful. That's not really the part I was interested in so much as her opinion, especially kind of like older, non-trendy. Like I wanted to see like the OG stuff, like writing a hero and a heroine and where to put the inciting incident and different ideas for who they are as characters. And it was just a total whim pickup for me. This is The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. I heard that this is just really great for not even just writing, just like being a creative person in general. And I heard nothing but good things about this. So I trusted everybody and I picked it up. Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody is probably my first purchase out of all of these ones. And I do like it. I did find at the time when I was reading it, I haven't picked it up in a little bit, that because I was writing at the time what I thought would be genre romance, that this was lacking the vocabulary that I specifically wanted. But now that I feel like I'm falling a little bit into a different genre, I think that this will be very helpful. I loved the vocabulary in this and the language, like the shard of glass for being this core wound that your character has that builds. I think they don't call it the lie. I think they call it the misbelief in this. And I actually think I like what they called things better in this than the K.M. Wieland one. I think that there's a lot more that I get to look at as I get into those phases of writing that will come from this. And it even has like industry standard word count for where you should be at the catalyst, where you should be at the break into act 2. Things I think that this will make me come back to often. Next is Romancing the Beat by Gwen Hayes. This is a really short one, but if you've at all thought about writing romance and you looked on the internet, you've seen this. And I think it's really interesting the way that she suggests formatting. Instead of using like the 3-act structure, I think she does 4, and she uses like a catabasis, like that snake thing around the pole, to think about the characters. In my own version of the I don't know how to say that, catasis. At each story beat, the protagonists circle each other around that rod and then back away to their respective corners. But each twist brings them closer because they don't have enough slack to get all the way back to where they were, like where they started from. So this is very different. I would say out of all of the ones that I've thumbed through a lot, this is the most out of the box, I suppose. And despite that I'm not writing what I thought I'd be writing, where I would get the most use out of this, I think I will come back to it because I think it has a really unique perspective, and I liked that quite a lot. Ooh, this is kind of a random one. It doesn't belong in this. In the Presence of Absence, this is Darwish, and I've read a little bit of his poetry, and I'm not gonna lie to you, the title is what brought me in, because in the presence of absence, I want to get back into poetry, because for me, when I'm creating, when I'm writing, I need to be consuming poetry and music and art, and it's just about going back to this well of creativity. I think it just gets my brain going and thinking of things in new ways, and especially with poetry, like this unexpected syntax and emotions that maybe I don't spend a lot of time with myself that I get to experience through the poetry. And this isn't poetry per se. I think that these are more stories, but I need to pick up his poetry. I picked this up as an impulse because I've wanted something of his. But I do actually want to read some of the poetry. Back on track. Story Genius by Lisa Cron. I find the writing in this to be a little more challenging, a little less easy. And I think that this, so far, I'm only like 50 pages in, but so far, it's not really for where I'm at in my story. So I haven't found it the most useful because I kind of had my idea already. But for developing an idea into an actual story, I think this book would be useful. And to be fair, there's plenty more that I haven't gotten the chance to look at yet. And last but not least, this is an oldie. It's Masterless for Writers by Bryn Donovan. This is, I think, the first edition. There's quite a few. There's like a gold one too. This is going to be like writing gold, like on the page, no longer brainstorming. I'm trying to get the story out. Gold. There are like chapters for plotting, different ideas for plot twists, like earn a degree or certification, graduating from high school, vocational school, or college, for like goals, all kinds of different things where when you're looking for a certain word, it offers up a lot. When you're stuck trying to figure out, like, maybe conflict's not the right word. I don't know if this has conflict. Responses to crisis. So there's a little bit of stuff on conflict. I think this is going to come in handy later on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I also had a rather large haul for fiction books. If you're interested in that, it's always romance, but there's some fantasy and literary fiction in that as well. And I will have that linked below. So I hope to see you guys around. Bye.